Wide-scale corruption, poor policies, vandalism and theft of infrastructure over the years are some of the reasons for the decline in train commuter numbers. This is according to a railway expert. And at the same time, transport union Satawu says what's happening to rail agency Prasa is an act of sabotage. Newzroom Afrika's Nasiphi has the story.
Even though trains are the most cost-effective mode of transport, most South African commuters have resorted to minibus taxis and buses in the last decade. And this is not by choice, but because of the unreliability of the country's rail transport system.
It's been a dramatic decline. It's virtually fallen off a cliff, and I think it goes back further than a decade. I think you probably need to go back about 20 years to see the beginning of the decline, and there were a combination of factors for this. In 2020, of course, we had the COVID experience, and the authorities tried to say, oh, well, we couldn't travel by train. But in fact, the problems with commuter rail in the big centres like Cape Town in particular, Johannesburg, Gauteng, goes back many years before that. And it's a combination of corruption, of theft, of vandalism, of safety issues, bad planning, bad policy. It's a perfect storm.
An activist from Philippi East says commuters are forced to make use of other modes of transport because the central line is partially operational.
Just because of when you look at the central line, mostly abantu abangathathi into impilo zikalujaca. Abantu abaninzi bexhomekeke kwi-train in order bayokhangela imisebenzi. Umuntu athenge noba lelo tikiti le-weekly ngalo sente akwazi uba mayokhangela umsebenzi. But ngoku yonke loo nto uba ngoku ukulaa nto ukutraveliswa ukuyo etsho etown is about 50 rands. And also nee-queues ezikhoyo phaa uba even iteksi azikwazi umelana nomthamo olaa nto abantu and everything.
The South African Transport and Allied Workers Union says government must ramp up efforts to revitalize the country's rail network.
The union is also of the view that it is also a sabotage to the economy. Our economy is not stable. The cost of living is too high in this country. So not having access to the railway is a problem that needs to be addressed as soon as possible.
Passenger rail agency Prasa in the Western Cape says plans to recover corridors are afoot.
Whilst we are trying to get the central line back, we've been hard at work improving all other corridors. We are on par to recover the Strand line by the end of this calendar year. December this year, the Strand line will be back.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Nasiphi in Cape Town.